Can I tell you something that's interesting about me?
What's that?
When I was a kid, I used to eat my spaghetti with butter on it instead of sauce.
Oh, I already know this. I always thought it was really weird. You know why? Because spaghetti with sauce is awesome.
Well, ultimately, spaghetti with sauce was your very favorite food.
Oh, my gosh. It still is.
Yeah.
You kidding me? Listen, here's what happened the other day.
Okay.
Knew that we were going to church for tacos to talk about the new youth setup that they're going to do, right? Knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
Shonda and I are getting ready to go. Shonda makes spaghetti and meat sauce for the boys. So, of course, I have to have a small bowl.
Right.
I eat it.
You did.
Then I ate a small bowl again.
Uh-huh.
And then
Two
I
small
ate
bowls.
one more small bowl. And then I got to...
That's about a bowl and a half regular size.
Then I got to... And I was like, well, I'm pretty full from... Shonda made spaghetti for the boys, so... I mean, I had to eat it. And then I had...
So what you're saying is you have a spaghetti snack problem.
I had it... Well, and then I ate all the leftovers the next day.
Of course.
I love spaghetti.
Yes.
I love spaghetti and meat sauce. And pasta... If pasta wasn't invented, I probably wouldn't have so many pounds around me right now.
Well, you know, the thing is most people think that we just love tacos. And, I mean, it's kind of a part of our branding where we are here.
I do enjoy tacos.
I do too.
I don't think that there's anything that hits home as well as a good pasta dinner.
Well, it definitely will put you to sleep. Tacos, at least you can still successfully move after.
Right.
But whenever we were kids, I used to eat my spaghetti with butter instead of meat sauce. And I feel like I had a pretty good reason. It was because spaghetti and meat sauce was your favorite food. I was your twin brother, and therefore I just wanted to do mine with butter, so it was different. And
So what you're saying is you have a twin phobia.
No. I did. I love being a twin now. Didymophobia.
Didymophobia?
Didymophobia is not an issue I have, but some face that. Some in this room. If you're not watching on YouTube, you won't have noticed that I just looked at Ben.
I don't have didymophobia. I do. I mean, we've covered this extensively.
We're going right back.
We've covered this extensively.
My point is that, or what I was going to tell you is that my son Sam will eat his spaghetti and meat sauce, and then he always asks after he's had a full helping of spaghetti and meat sauce.
I don't know what
for
Liam
noodles
wants
and
that.
butter.
Liam wants noodles and butter
with just some grazed cheese over it.
He's never asked for the grazed cheese,
Yeah.
but he does. We have to make him a bowl of. We don't have to, but
Right.
he asks for a bowl of regular and a bowl of just spaghetti and butter.
Yeah.
So it must have tasted good.
No,
but
I mean, it did. I remember it tasting good, but I also remember always kind of having a sour stomach afterward because that's a lot of butter, you know? Like you're putting a lot of butter in your body.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just I feel like it was nice to know that it isn't just me, you know.
Sure.
That there are probably other people out there that can get down with some spaghetti and butter noodles.
Welcome.
Fresh out the box. Stop. Look and watch. Ready yet? Get set. It's
The following podcast.
Eat my short.
Not the mama.
Goodbye.
90s comedians that shaped us is the topic that I wanted to go over.
Oh man.
I wanted to dive in a little deep today and talk about why 90s comedians are better than all other comedians put together.
Oh man, I could name one reason right off the top, real quick.
Really?
They stayed away from politics.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true. They did stay out of the political arena.
Well, and if they didn't, if they did
was
shy
even-handed.
into it, yeah, it was everybody got made fun
Yeah.
of, not just one side or the other or whatever.
SNL during the 90s was the best.
Sure.
And I remember getting around the television, like whenever, because that's what you did. You circled around the television. You know, we couldn't watch it whenever we wanted. You watched it when it was on. And I remember our parents letting us stay up, especially after the presidential debates, to watch SNL because they would just hammer these people in those debates, and they were hilarious to watch. That said, I wanted to reference particularly some of the comedians that I feel like were among the best in that time.
Do it.
Okay. Mike Myers.
Definitely. Yeah. Mike Myers So I Married an Axe Murderer, Wayne's World,
Austin Powers.
Austin Powers. Yeah.
Austin Powers was like a 90s theme. It walked all the way through as far as those go. Dana Carvey.
Yes. Well, obviously the other half of the Mike Myers duo.
Yeah.
Garth.
Wayne's World.
Right.
Wayne's World was probably one of the bigger movies that kept us going, or at least was a big one for us back when we were in teenage years.
Well,
the
There's
Bohemian Rhapsody
so
scene at the
so
beginning.
many. I think that they are what made that song
Popular.
as popular
Well,
as it is
no,
today.
don't get me wrong. It was super popular, but
Well, I'm sure that I'm saying that it was revamped and revitalized
Right.
after that scene.
well, definitely for us, that's the reason that we knew that song
Sure.
was because of that movie. So we didn't listen to a lot of Queen in our downtime.
No. You know what's funny about this, or on this subject line? There's a police department that during that big lip sync challenge that we had, that reenacted the entire Bohemian Rhapsody scene.
I remember that.
It was
from Wayne's World.
Yes, so well done. I can't think of what the PD's name was. Otherwise, I'd do a shout out to him. But tell people to go look up that video because honestly, it didn't get the credit it deserved.
Yeah.
I think it hit a lot of views, but it was really, really
Well,
good.
unless you knew the movie, the way that we would have known the movie.
Sure.
It was scene for scene, and they did behind the scenes on it too. That was really, really good.
Yeah,
So
it was pretty impressive. Very well done.
Yeah.
But anyway,
well, Punk City did a really good lip sync
there was
challenge as well.
uh,
If you're looking for something great to watch, there's
company that was very early in their
Yeah.
in their. Honestly, I look back
a really
at the video
handsome police officer.
Look, I just see a whole lot of flaws. That's all I do. I don't even want to show it to people
Oh, no,
anymore. I'm
it's
like,
still fun.
gosh, it's so.
We did it in 24 hours.
I know. Well,
Hey,
we did it.
Give us
it
some
was,
credit.
The shooting and the editing was so fast. There wasn't really
Yeah.
any time
Yeah.
to mess with it. But yeah, it wasn't. It's not.
You remember we
Beautiful.
storyboarded that whole thing. It was so fun. We did that so quick.
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's good. No, Dana Carvey, people don't give him as much credit in that movie as they do to Mike Myers, but he really made it.
Oh
you know.
yeah, yeah.
Garth's quick wit and just the silly things that he'd say and had come up with
But
in social situations.
He was
and,
such a tag along like assistant friend.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? It's like all of these really outgoing personalities, right, tend to have that one that just kind of comes along.
right.
Right? So for Wayne and Garth, their relationship is so strong, I think, because Wayne is the voice.
Yeah.
And Garth is that one that's just kind of grown up alongside Wayne and just
Yeah.
has come along for the ride.
Yeah, this is exactly like you and me. You just came along for the
Right.
ride as
Just
I
came- I
carried you.
I hitched my wagon to your cart.
That's it. You jumped in.
Here we are.
I don't know. I think that we were like two oxen pulling the wagon.
You think about some of our friends, though.
Yes.
We have targeted those ones that tend to be quiet.
Yeah.
And,
Just laugh at our jokes.
yeah,
that's true.
They're the best ones to have around.
Yeah.
Like, I just need to find someone that thinks I'm funny.
Yeah.
And I'll really enjoy that person.
That's exactly right. So that's that's the type of friend that you want. Someone that just finds you amusing.
Yeah,
So
but you're right. Dana Carvey was underrated, but he's. I mean, on SNL too. He played some great roles.
yeah. Chris Farley.
Oh yeah. I mean, no doubt.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, Great White Ninja.
Yeah. Beverly Hills Ninja.
I mean, come on.
yeah. Tommy Boy.
That guy was so athletic.
Yeah.
Like
Black
some of the
Sheep.
things that he could do. Very impressive.
Yeah. A lot of these movies you can't show your children yet. That's,
and I look forward to Liam turning 13, 14, 15, where we
you
can start kind
of
of venturing
trickling
into
in some of these. Yeah,
just
design new
'cause
movies.
They're
They're definitely not as on the line as some of the stuff is today.
no.
but,
I'm sure that some people would probably look at it and go, "This isn't bad at all,"
Yeah.
compared to some of the stuff that's out there.
Yeah.
You know.
well, still great.
Yeah.
Remember Phil Hartman before
Oh,
before he passed away, and his classic roles are he was the voice of the Simpsons for the
Sure.
longest time,
Yeah, well, he did a lot of different. He cameoed on there tons of
all the time. I'm Troy McClure.
Yeah, Troy. Yeah, he was also. You know what else he was in that we watched recently is Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Mm-hmm.
He played
the crazy neighbor.
Yeah, the one that was after Arnold's wife
Yeah.
the entire time.
No, that's one that's become a reoccurring in our house.
Yeah,
at
we
holiday
watch
times.
it almost every year.
It did. I remember watching it in theaters when it came out, and I don't think that anybody really thought it was that great. But it's just got
it's
that.
a good one. Yeah.
It's got that nostalgic
I wonder if
Christmas feel.
if it's starting to get a comeback though because of all of the people that watched it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. But I mean, that's the way it kind of goes with those movies.
Phil Hartman's a sad story, but yes, one of the great comedians of the 90s.
So good. And then there was, of course, the dynamic trio, the ones no one could forget: Steve Martin,
Chevy Chase,
and Martin Short.
Yeah.
The Three Amigos.
The Three Amigos.
Whoa.
It was a cough.
Yeah. One of the reasons I fell in love with my wife was because she already loved the Three Amigos.
Really?
Yeah,
That made you fall in love with her, huh?
I just thought, wow, what a woman.
She already knows.
She already knows. I don't have to show her this. She already loves it.
Well, one of the reasons I fell in love with my wife is, well, there's a lot. I don't know. I don't know where we're going with that.
You'll notice that our movies tend to have three in them, the ones that we really love. Last week we talked about the Three Ninjas. And this week we're talking about the Three Amigos. So I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see what happens next week.
Chevy Chase was pretty stand-up during the 90s.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of his movies we
didn't see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christmas Vacation, I remember Mom and Dad did a VHS recording of Christmas Vacation when it was showed on cable.
Mm-hmm. And we would watch that one.
That was the version we were allowed to watch.
Yep, we'd watch it every year.
So I'll tell you this. When I became an adult and decided, I'm feeling a little Christmas
Check
Vacation.
that out.
Yeah. Boy, there was a string on there at the very end.
Yeah.
That took my breath away a little bit.
You weren't ready for that.
I'd never heard all of these words before.
You had never heard them before?
Well, not out of Chevy Chase's mouth anyway.
And I think he said them a lot more often than
Yeah,
one would
probably.
think. So,
Probably. Yeah.
I've actually heard Chevy Chase had a reputation of being quite the bully.
Yeah, I heard there was a lot of people that didn't like working with him.
Right. He was
very, very demanding.
Yeah.
And
Still is.
Yeah.
So, he's still doing stuff.
I know I watched, there was a behind-the-scenes documentary on Home Alone, speaking of good movies from the 90s.
Didn't we talk about this?
Did we?
Yes, we did. How the way the things that made the movies that made us.
Yeah, the movies that made us.
Because we talked about Home Alone because it was in the 90s.
Chevy Chase?
We didn't talk about Chevy Chase.
The director of Home Alone got fired from Christmas Vacation because Chevy Chase didn't like him.
Oh,
that was the whole reason.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So he was directing Christmas Vacation and got fired because Chevy Chase didn't get along with him well.
Yeah, so either directing or was tied to direct or something along those lines. But yeah, he was hard to get along with, and that's what happened.
Very interesting.
Martin Short and Steve Martin still work together.
Oh yeah, they're doing a series on Hulu.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Only Murders in the Building, where they're podcasters.
Yep, and we've seen the first couple of seasons, and it's pretty funny. They're still very, very funny.
Steve Martin, also Father of the Bride, right? Very popular in those movies. Mm-hmm. Martin Short, the big one I think of with him, and you know what? One that you missed here, Tim Allen.
Oh yeah, Tim Allen was huge.
Yeah. And I mean, you think about Santa Claus and obviously all the home improvements.
There are tons that I technically missed.
Right.
I mean, we could point to.
I'm just saying, as far as our childhood goes, if we're really talking about us here, he was pretty spot on as far as comedy goes.
I don't know. I just you got to tip your hat to some of these guys and the work that they did.
Sure.
I just you can't help but think of them. So. I don't really know that this is really shaping the way that I wanted it to. As far as
how did you want it to?
I don't know. I don't know where I was.
I feel like it's doing okay.
You think so?
Yeah. You need to take out the part where you completely screwed up the Late Show stuff.
No, I'm just wondering if we're just saying a lot of people's names and it's not really. We're not exactly discussing or coming into
stuff in the beginning. The Mike Myers, Dana Carvey, Chris Farley, Phil Hartman. Maybe we took a wrong turn at Three Amigos.
Maybe. And how could we?
I don't know. And then, who else was really impactful for us as kids, but they weren't really comedians from the 90s?
The Smothers Brothers.
The Smothers Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just some classic, good old fashioned comedy.
This is the thing, and whenever we were growing up, the key was you don't go blue.
Right.
The idea was if comedy is clean, it's good comedy. And I don't get me wrong, I understand late 90s, early 2000s, we had a lot of comedy that went straight blue. Like it was, all they could do was blue, as far as, things like American Pie and, the shows that kind of, really, really not just walked, but like dove way past the line and just jumped into the deep.
Yeah.
But prior to that, you had to make people laugh without getting in the gutter.
Well, and that was how you could show your skill as a comedian by going that route.
Right. And when you look at the early guys, you look at people like the Smothers Brothers, and even, just a lot of those early on comedians that were just super talented, like not just, talented with their pace and with the comic, stuff that they did and the way that they told their stories, but they could play instruments and they could dance and they could sing and it was on a whole different level, as far as the acting goes and the type of person you had doing the work.
Right. Yeah, we called them triple threats, right? They could dance, they could sing, they could act.
Yeah. And I think they're still out there. I just think that it's so much easier these days to know that if I can make everybody laugh with a blue joke, why not just do that?
Sure.
Which I think that if you watch our reels or if you watch our stuff, Ben and I really work hard to make sure that everything that we do is relatively family friendly.
Right.
That we're something that you can listen to in front of your kids and know that they're not going to be hearing, gross content.
Well, but that's real though.
Yeah.
We typically aren't crass.
No.
We might edge on we might get on the edge of a fart joke every once in a while.
This is where we go wrong. When we go blue, it's usually about poop. See, I even say the word poop,
and I laugh.
And
I don't know.
laughs.
It's just it's an easy sell.
It's a real
What
issue.
can I say?
We have a real issue here.
We tend to run into opportunities though where crazy things happen to us,
Right.
and it's just easy to tell the story of.
Right.
I think it's because I'm very outgoing and also very awkward at the same time.
Yeah.
So I can.
Have you ever heard of the elephant in the room? His name is Benjamin.
Shonda calls me Ferdinand. Because I'm a bowl in a china cabinet. So
But China shop.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. How would a bowl fit in the China cabinet?
I don't know, but you imagine if there was one in there, it would be a
Boy,
mess.
It would be a mess. Ben just likes to walk right up to the issue and poke it.
Yeah, I've poked a beehive or two in my day.
Yeah. It's just like, you walk in and a woman's got pink hair and she's trying to cover it up with some sort of wig, and he'd go and rip the wig off and say, "Why is your hair pink?" I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Would that work?
I mean, I don't.
What an example.
It's really. I don't think I would do that.
Oh.
I would say your pink hair is showing.
Oh.
You might want to go fix that. Your pink hair is
your
showing.
real hair is showing.
Yeah, I don't know that I would pull the wig off.
Are you the type of guy that would go, "There's a booger hanging out of your nose"?
Oh, absolutely.
I think that's a
Listen,
genuine courtesy.
Yes, and I think that might be a real subject. I think that if you are the type of person that lets somebody walk around with a booger hanging out of their nose,
You're mean.
that's a problem.
They
Always want to know.
It's a demerit on friendship.
Oh, absolutely.
I think if you are a friend of mine and I go and look in the mirror and there's a booger in my nose and I know that I associated with you
yes.
prior to going and seeing myself in the mirror,
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming after you.
We're having a conversation.
We're going to have a conversation. I'm come back and I'm going to say, "Did you not notice the booger in my nose?"
I told a stranger one time.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking for whatever reason, interacting, and I
Yeah.
said, "Listen," and I said, "This might be a little bit embarrassing now, but it's not going to be near as embarrassing as it would be if you just continued to walk around." And she was like,
Right.
"Oh my, what?" And I said, "You have a little booger hanging out," and instantly,
Right.
like, I'd already seen it at that point.
You know
I
what's
really-
funny? You know what's always funny about when you tell somebody that there's a booger hanging in their nose?
That's always the reaction,
No, the reaction is generally that they go after it.
or they go, And the sniff never works.
Why is it that they
the
always
sniff never works?
They always kind of just go and try to flick it out.
Well,
or
I
they
think
grab
it's
it.
because it's the
It's a
instant
natural reaction.
discomfort of
Oh,
knowing.
I'm so sorry.
How dare you see my imperfections?
Yeah. I wonder if there's maybe we should start carrying Kleenex around with us
You
just
think?
for those situations.
That doesn't happen often enough. I would just always have Kleenex in my pocket. I've got enough things in my pockets.
Isn't it why like dapper men used to carry around a hanky? You think that was the reason
Sure.
why?
Yeah.
Like, a woman
Listen,
cries, a woman's
I-
got a booger coming out of her nose.
I know guys that still carry a handkerchief around.
Yeah.
And they'll blow their nose on it, stick it right back in their pocket, which blows my mind.
well, I mean, you wash it and then it's fine.
I just can't. The idea of pulling dried boogers out of your pocket, I can't do it.
I got it. I
May-
mean, this
I
may
feel
be
like this just got really gross.
this may be the grossest podcast we've ever done. But I also think it's really working for us.
Well,
like it's it's a topic that needed to be discussed.
I think so. I think the world needed to be drawn to this, and if we can start that movement,
let's start it.
just those few people out there.
If you are listening today and you can commit to the idea of telling somebody that there is a booger hanging out of their nose, please cue in. Please cue in and let us know that you've made that commitment.
Let's go.
I think it's good for everyone.
The word of the day.
The word of the day.
It's actually 2 words.
Oh.
Yeah, O is one of the words.
Oh.
Can you imagine what the second one might be?
I don't know.
Oh, snap.
Ah. Yep, you got to snap when you say it.
After the 90s, sassily snapping your fingers. Ooh.
Sassily?
Good sentence. Sassily.
Sassily.
Oh, snap. Sassily snapping your fingers while yelling, oh, snap, went into style to express surprise or frustration.
Ooh. Oh, snap.
Yeah, sadly, it
Oh,
seems
snap.
American culture hasn't been that interested in the sophisticated snapping since Little John's Snap Yo Fingers charted back in 2006. So,
It was
viewers out
in.
there,
It was out.
yes, if you want to bring back,
Oh, snap.
but you're not sassy enough to pull it off, try paying a compliment to a friend by giving them snaps
Oh.
instead.
Just some snappy attention.
Little snaps.
I actually think Oh Snap could be brought back.
I feel like I've said oh snap recently.
I believe you probably have.
I don't know.
But I guarantee you didn't
I don't
snap your
say-
fingers
I don't
when
say
you did
cool
it.
words anymore. I say words that were cool when I was cool,
Yep.
and apparently they're not cool anymore.
Well, and you and I both know we never really were cool. We just thought we were. That's when you're supposed to say, oh, snap.
Oh, snap.
Disappointed snap.
Disappointed. I feel like we were always pretty cool.
Ben, what about
Maybe not to other people, but to each other.
what about not just snap, crackle, and pop?
Oh, dang.
Yeah,
Dang,
right?
son.
Yeah.
Straight Rice Krispie.
I'm going to Rice Krispie this thing.
What about, I got nothing.
That's so snap, crackle, and pop. I'm having me a Rice Krispie treat.
Oh, snappy.
Snappity.
That's
Snappy. Snapple. Oh, Snapple.
whatever happened to Snapple? Is that still
I don't
around?
know. No, I don't think so. It's delicious.
R.I.P. Snapple.
All right. Hey, if you're out there and this week you want to say "oh snap" while you grab a Snapple,
Snap that Snapple.
snap that Snapple and let us know about it.
All right.
Adios.
Until next week.
The following podcast
Eat my short. Not the mama, not the mama.
Goodbye.